safety, rights, and road safety. Tune in on the official LMP Facebook page, Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Have you ever wondered how the Liberian National Police keep our community safe? Want to know your rights in the role you play? Introducing Police Dialogue, an interactive public service podcast. Each week, senior officers, law enforcement experts, the community leaders discuss crime prevention, community policing, road safety, and how citizens can help. Tune in, ask questions, be a part of the conversation that builds a safer Liberia. Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Police Dialogue, join the Liberian National Police and community leaders for weekly conversation on safety, rights, and road safety. Tune in on the official LMP Facebook page, Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Have you ever wondered how the Liberian National Police keep our community safe? Want to know your rights in the role you play? Introducing Police Dialogue, an interactive public service podcast. Each week, senior officers, law enforcement experts, the community leaders discuss crime prevention, community policing, road safety, and how citizens can help. Tune in, ask questions, be a part of the conversation that builds a safer Liberia. Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Police Dialogue, join the Liberian National Police and community leaders for weekly conversation on safety, rights, and road safety. Tune in on the official LMP Facebook page, Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Have you ever wondered how the Liberian National Police keep our community safe? Want to know your rights in the role you play? Introducing Police Dialogue, an interactive public service podcast. Each week, senior officers, law enforcement experts, the community leaders discuss crime prevention, community policing, road safety, and how citizens can help. Tune in, ask questions, be a part of the conversation that builds a safer Liberia. Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Police Dialogue, join the Liberian National Police and community leaders for weekly conversation on safety, rights, and road safety. Tune in on the official LMP Facebook page, Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Have you ever wondered how the Liberian National Police keep our community safe? Want to know your rights in the role you play? Introducing Police Dialogue, an interactive public service podcast. Each week, senior officers, law enforcement experts, the community leaders discuss crime prevention.
Good evening from the headquarters of the Liberian National Police, and welcome to Police Dialogue, a public service program that is geared towards building public trust, a program that many Liberians refer to as a bridge between the communities and the Liberian National Police. Like I said, we are here to build bridges. We are here to provide service to the people of Liberia, and this is the forum, this is the medium through which both police and communities come together to discuss the common good of the community and the Liberia National Police. And today we'll be hosting the county commander of Nimba County, and he will be telling us about the security situation in the county, how far, what is the condition of the security condition in the kind of the security outlook of Nimba. And we'll also be bringing you a very special interview with the commander of the former police unit, Christopher P.S. Roberts. In that interview, he said a whole lot of good things about his unit and what he want to see his unit become here within the Liberian National Police. He talked about their involvement in counterterrorism. He talked about their involvement in public disorder, how they are trained to bring situation under control. He also spoke about the issue of professionalism, how the LMP has now has now gone to the era of where people are building a lot of trust within the Liberian National Police. He also talked about discipline, what he's doing as the former police commander to institute discipline within the PSU and the ERU. This program is live on Sky FM 107.1, and we ask our listeners to keep tuned and be informed about what's happening here at the Liberian National Police. The numbers will be up for you to call as soon as we get midway into this program. But better say we bring you this special interview coming from our Christopher P.S. Roberts. He is the former police commander. Sam Collins is my name. Stay with us. Like I said, we are live on Sky FM 107.1, and we are also streaming on the official page of the Liberia National Police. Take a look at this interview. Leave your comments in the comment section. We'll be able to read it out for you.
Dress code has changed. The way we appear in the past now is much more professional. Our officers are getting used to wearing proper uniform, being properly attired, smartly looking, and much more professional. The conduct of our officers in the line of their duties improved greatly. We have seen our services move from force to more status. So I think we are making progress, and I think if we continue on this trajectory within the next 5 years, we can say that we can boast of the LMP that to be one of the best teams Liberia in the world or in Africa. So,
what message do you have for your diaspora audience? And some of them may want to visit Liberia and something about the issue of law enforcement in our country.
First of all, to our citizens, some Liberians outside of Liberia and those visiting Liberia want to say you are wholeheartedly welcome. Like any other country, if I leave from here today and I travel to another country, I want to feel safe. And that's the same safety we want to provide for you when you come to Liberia. We have been doing everything possible to ensure that our citizens go about freely and enjoy liberty. So you are welcome to visit. We are on obligation to protect you and to ensure that you have a free movement without hindrance.
Your parting statement.
So let me say thank you to you and your team for the support, and thanks to the LMP, and thanks to the men and women of the LMP.
The General Commander of the Former Police Unit of the Liberian National Police, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Christopher P.S. Roberts. And we're here for a very special interview where he will run us through his activities as the former police commander. He will also tell us how he sees his police career, how he became a police officer, and where he hopes to see the Liberian National Police in years to come. Chris, welcome to the special interview.
Thank you so much, DCP Sam Collins, and thanks to you and your team for the opportunity. You're welcome.
You are a commander of the General of the Former Police Unit of the Liberian National Police. Tell me your function.
So, Emergency Response Unit, the ERU, and that of the Police Support Unit, the PSU. And as General Commander of the two units, I am responsible to coordinate the affairs of the two units in terms of operation and leadership.
What are the specific functions of the PSU and the ERU? What is required of them?
So, both units are responsible to give support to the overall LMP, especially armed support. The police support unit is specifically responsible for civil disturbance, especially crowd control or riot, while the emergency response unit is responsible for high-risk situation, To be more specific, based on our current security threat, which is in armed robbery.
Honorable. And also, when you talk about crowd control, one may wonder whether the NLP just have people sitting and waiting for demonstration or protest.
No.
What other activities are they involved with?
So the formed police unit not just sitting and waiting for a situation to happen before they respond. We are also proactive, and then we also provide services in terms of VIP protection, vital installation deployment. We have officers across the counties giving support to the institution, especially the LP at the county level. And at the central level, we have officers also giving support in the field to the various sections. So we have officers as well that patrol in the daytime, deployed in strategic locations to be able for quick response. And we also have officers at nighttime responding to the calls of citizens.
When does the NLP High Command activate the PSU into action?
So the FP is already activated, but in terms of major situations,
I'm talking about the movement to take them from the headquarters of the police to launch them into operation. When?
So to take, especially when it comes to special operations, special situation, the FP is activated based on the instruction from the Inspector General of Police through his deputy for operations down to the Commissioner of Police for operation before to me. So once that instruction comes based on the analysis of the threat, it can be determined whether it's the emergency response unit or the police support unit responding.
What about the ERA?
So, like I said, it's based on the situation. I can determine if the ERA can respond to that call or the police support unit can respond to the call. So remember, the police support unit also is an armed component, not just the emergency response unit, but it's based on the situation to determine whether we can use firearm or less than lethal.
With that, one can come to the conclusion that you have a very huge responsibility here at the Liberia National Police, overseeing the activities of
I joined the LMP in 2004. In 2004, after the United Nations had restructured the security sector, and there was a need to have police officers trained. We were opportune to be selected, went to the academy, went through our basic training, graduated in 2005. And then since then, we enrolled into the services of the LMP and have been providing our services to our people into this institution. So I've been in the service for over 20 years.
Over 20 years, what are some of the roles you have played? What are some of the positions you have occupied within the LMP?
I've had an opportunity to serve as not just in this current capacity. I started from the grassroots where I served within the police support unit as an ordinary officer after our training in Nigeria. The 300 men that went to Nigeria established the police support unit that succeeded the special task force, the STF. If you don't know, you have the STF. So we succeeded the special task force and established the police support unit. We also had an opportunity after many years in 2010, served as the commander of the Metropolitan Police Station in Central Monrovia. And then in 2011, I had an opportunity, 2012, sorry, I had an opportunity to be elevated as the Assistant Chief of Patrol for Zones and Depots Unit 178. And then later on in my career, I was also elevated to serve as the Deputy Commander of the Police Support Unit for Operations, Unit 192 at the time. Based on my work, I was called to service to serve as a Special Assistant to the Inspector General, where I had an opportunity to serve 2 different Inspector Generals as a Special Assistant. And then later on, I was sent to the Police Academy, where I served again for a few years, and then I was called back to the Police Support Unit as General Commander of the Police Support Unit. During a troubling time, when the Police Support Unit at that time needed a leadership when there was a leadership gap, I was called to serve and steer the affairs of the police of unit. Based on my performance, I was elevated to the general commander of the formed police unit, now serving both the ERA and PS.
How do you see law enforcement here in Liberia, where somebody who have no background in law enforcement will want to tell the police exactly what to do? How do you see it?
Liberia is a peculiar society. I think we can say in our layman sense, we say everybody is smart, everybody knows everything. It's a difficult place to work. It's a difficult place even to explain to them the common laws, some common things that should be doing. Take for example, an officer goes to effect an arrest. He's challenged. The citizens want to dictate to him on how he does his job. They even want to stop him from performing his service. So it's not an easy place to work. It's a challenging environment. And the fact that we have been in this for a long period of time now, we understand the kind of society we're dealing with, and we are responding appropriately to much more professional setting. But I think I must admit that even the citizens themselves have been making improvement now in their behavior. So I think collectively we are trying to get somewhere.
Is it because lack of public information out of probably from the Liberian National Police that what we're doing now and giving some level of education, or because people just don't want to listen to law enforcement, or just don't want to go by law instruction from law enforcement? Why is it terrain difficult?
We can say sometimes it's because of lack of information, but I think the LNP has been doing extremely well in terms of community policing, where we have been having town hall meetings discussing about people, the section, including every one of the officers, especially the IG. In recent time, he said his vision is not just a section to be able to institute community policing, but that every officer in the LNP can understand community policing and be able to implement it into their daily activities. So yeah, we have come far with that. But I think the issue too also with our citizens is that we should understand that we came from a civil crisis. We have a broken society, and it takes time to be able to build the society. So many of our citizens, some of them never had an opportunity to grow up in a proper home. So to deal with these people, you have to understand their background and to be able to much more understand how they behave, and that's how you're going to be able to deal with the situation. So,
and that takes leadership. What kind of a leader are you?
Leadership and training.
Yeah, what kind of a leader are you?
No. Within the LNP, all through my career and everywhere that I've served, I've tried to be not just a leader. I try to be a leader that leaves from back behind. And I can put myself in one category, just one, even though they are all leadership traits I may have, but I think I'm a transformational leader. Everywhere I serve, I make some indelible impact.
What do you love about the job you do?
I just love being a policeman, first of all. And I love being called to serve, to be a commander of a unit or to be in a certain position. It doesn't take you to be nothing special. It's just because you have had an opportunity, like any other officer that will come to that level to serve. So the first and foremost thing is to be willing to serve, not to see yourself as a boss, but humble yourself and understand the people that you work with in order to address their problems. Sometimes you may not have the knowledge, you may not have the understanding of how to deal with a situation, especially when sometimes you come to where you say, okay, today, what am I to do? You are lost. But just by interacting with the officer, he gave you an insight of how you can be able to address some of these things. And through that, yeah, we have come to the point where we have made some great impact in this institution.
What has been your most memorable and challenging time as a law enforcement personnel?
We coming to work, interacting with the officers and hearing their concerns is something that is worth listening to, and I can advise you and sometimes just go down the basement and listen to somebody's officers. There are a lot of challenges they go through, especially with a little salary that they take home and with the challenges that come along. somebody have to pay their way to come to work. Somebody have to pay their children's school fees. They have to make sure they put the children in school, take care of their daily activities like feeding, take care of their families. Is a challenging movement for every one of them. Just sitting there and listening to them, that alone, it gives me an impression of the challenges that we are facing in the institution and how we can be able to deal with these things. Sometimes we also come with this kind of mindset, they behave in certain ways. It's not just about using your authority because you're in that position, you have to understand them. I've had an opportunity to listen to an officer. Just recent time he called me and he and I had a dialogue way back. And I talked to him and he used to suffer from alcohol breakdown when he takes enough alcohol and he was worthless. Let's say worthless because I'm always here. But then through interaction with him, trying to understand his background and everything, and he made some commitment to me. The recent time I was surprised, he called me, he told me his story that he has changed. Even now, his family now, they don't see him as a role model. Before, nobody would look up to him. But today, now, they even recognize him, even put him in charge of properties. So he's one of my defining moments and memorable moments in the LNP, especially the PSU, where he called me, you were able to break down and talk about his story and where he has come. Like him, like many other officers, face similar challenges. Some of the officers involved with some habits, not because they choose to do it. Sometimes the stress, the challenges that they go through. So every day, almost every day, is memorable.
The challenge. Yeah, the challenging aspect of the
job. Well, most of my time in the LNP, although I serve in administration, but I have been in operation most of my time. Every day, just by getting up in the morning, putting your radio on, the challenges start. Sometimes you can be leaving your house in the morning, there's already a situation on hold. You have to make split-second decision to be able to deal with that situation. So there are a lot of challenges every day when it comes to this job. We have to sit in office to do administrative duties. And sometimes, again, while you're even trying to do some administrative duties, something going that requires your intervention, again, you are in the field.
How do you address the issue of indiscipline on the part of your officers? Addressing the issue of AWOL, all of that.
So, when it comes to AWOL, it's simple. The duty manual says that an officer that leaves work absent without proper leave or an information or explanation, he has to be marked AWOL. All you need to do is to give an AWOL, send the records up to the LNP administration to determine what action will be taken against him. Yeah.
You talk about the public, members of the public coming on term with understanding law enforcement, the role you play, the work that you do. How do you see it 5 years from now? Will we have a public that will cooperate fully with the police? Or will we see experience scrimmages?
I must admit, there has been a lot of discussion when it comes to that. In recent time, if you follow the trend on Facebook, people now are beginning to understand that the law enforcement officers are challenged. And therefore, there's a need to be able to call for a general rally to support. So you saw where an officer was attacked, and before in the past, people would just condemn the action of the officer. But these days, the citizens themselves are seeing that it's not just the attitude of the officer, but also the people themselves. They themselves have some issues. So there's a general call now, even on Facebook, you see people talk about, oh no, the people need to respect police officers, the police officers need to be respected. And I think it's becoming an important aspect in discussion within our society now. If we need a country where the citizens have to be law-abiding, then the police officers themselves have to be much more professional in how they deal with the citizens. But that requires also responsible citizens.
Inspector General Coleman administration seems to be having a lot of transformation agenda, transforming the police, making the police more people friendly, and making the community to draw to the police. if you are to sit with him tomorrow, what will you tell him as it relates to his transformation agenda that is wrong?
Well, first of all, let me thank the administration of the Liberian National Police, especially under Honorable Pullman. The LNP is making a steady and significant progress.
Yeah.
We have seen our officers, especially even just for example, even our dress code has changed.
Okay.
The way we appear in the past now is much more professional. Our officers are getting used to wearing proper uniform, being properly attired, smartly looking, and much more professional. The conduct of our officers in the line of their duties improved greatly. We have seen our services move from force to more service. So I think we are making progress, and I think if we continue on this trajectory within the next 5 years, we can say that we can boast of the LNP with that to be one of the best in Liberia, in the world or in Africa. So,
what message do you have for your diaspora audience? And some of them may want to visit Liberia and something about the issue of law enforcement in our country.
First of all, to our citizens, some Liberians outside of Liberia and those visiting Liberia want to say you are wholeheartedly welcome. Like any other country, if I leave from here today and I travel to another country, I want to feel safe. And that's the same safety we want to provide for you when you come to Liberia. We have been doing everything possible to ensure that our citizens go about freely and enjoy liberty. So you are welcome to visit. We are under obligation to protect you and to ensure that you have a free movement with our members. So let me say thank you to you and your team for the support, and thanks to the LNP, and thanks to the men and women of the LNP. And to the citizens of Liberia, we will continue to support and work together. It is a collective effort. We ask every citizen within our borders to continue to support the police. Sometimes our officers step outside. That's why we have the Professional Standards Division. Bring your complaints to them, they will deal with it, or bring it to us. Even if our officers in the field, sometimes they go out of hand. Let us know, we can be able to intervene and address it. But also we ask that citizens continue to support every law body and to ensure that we find a common ground in how we deal with situations than just always getting into conflict. The police is here to serve you, and you are under obligation to also ensure that we are protected so that we're able to serve you properly.
Okay, good morning. We in the office of the Deputy Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, and he's the one that controls the operational aspect of the LNP. He is Honorable Councillor J. Nelson Freeman. So welcome to this special interview.
Thank you, Collins, DCP Collins, and it's good to have you all in my room this morning.
Oh, we are just a few days into the new year. How is it going?
Well, so far so good. To a larger extent, we had a very successful 2025, and as we speak, we are having a couple of meetings on strategizing on how we intend to roll police operations out in 2026. We are very hopeful that it's also going to be a very successful year. So we haven't had any major incident thus far, and so we could say on the overall that 2026 have started on a good note, and we hope that we can continue to render the services that is required of us.
You've been in this law enforcement environment for some time now, but just before we get into the nitty-gritty of this profiling interview, who is Councillor J. Nelson Freeman?
Okay, so Councillor J. Nelson Freeman is a police officer with a little over 28 years of service. As a matter of fact, February 25th will be making me 29 years in active service. Consistently, I've been here all through my life. That's more than half of my lifetime. I enrolled here in 1996, but it was not official then. You know, usually we came around the police station those days. It used to be a practice those days. Now, the first time you come up, you are like a kid until you get a full letter of employment. So that's why we're not counting from 96 to today. We're counting somewhere when we got our confirmation and got a letter to be appointed. I mean, enlisted within the services of the Liberian National Police. I came through the Special Task Force, that's how it was called then, down the basement. We wore our red t-shirts on our uniforms. Served for a little while, I think about a year or so. And then I got assigned to Cape Palmas, Maryland County, where we initially went to quite a riot that was ensuing there. It subsequently turned into a permanent assignment. I got appointed there as the Deputy County Commander for the Maryland County Police Detachment. I stayed there until I subsequently grew to become the Acting Police Commander for Maryland. Then there came a situation that almost changed my whole life. There was this riot under the rubber. They refer to it in Cape Palmas like that as the Cavalry Royal Company. And then while responding from Harper to the situation, we had a scratch that got the scars in my face today, my badge of my symbol of my service. And so that was the turning point in my life.
And sometimes they call it Scarface.
Oh yeah, I mean, so the Scarface, other people will have their own nomenclature. They think it's some wartime name or so. No, but after the accident, my face got scarred, and I think some police tried to use it to bully me or get me down. But I was very resilient, and I thought that nothing was going to stop me to continue my service. We went through. I got flown in Monrovia from Cape Palmas unconscious. I was on the hospital bed. I got flown in Monrovia. We recovered, and after a while, I got assigned again to Nima County. And then from Nima, about a year in Nima, there was a situation up in Bon County where the police commander accidentally discharged a firearm that led to the death of a student. And there was this very serious riot up in Banga that led to the commander's house getting burned and the police station being ransacked. Again, the police administration in the wisdom thought that I needed to come over to quiet that situation. I got transferred from Nima then to Bon County. We stayed up in Bon County until the 2023 episode. I mean, that was the World War III, as it's commonly referred to in Liberia. And we all were forced to come down to Monrovia. Came down to Monrovia, the United Nations came to Liberia. It began the restructuring of the security sector reform began. That was again a very crucial point because remember then I was already a major in service. We were using the military style of our ranking then. Yeah. I was already a major in the police force, having served as county commander for about 2 or 3 counties then. And then we had to all reapply. We had to total, overhaul of the system. And we all had to go back into the academy as recruits. So again, I found myself back at the National Police Training Academy as a basic recruit, class 12. Anthony there came lately for that class, and I think he got transferred to class 13. I still vividly remember he had to stay with us. He came down with a helicopter from southeast somewhere, right? And they had to stay on the academy with us until he went with the next class. So we graduated after intensive training at the academy under the stewardship of the United Nations Mission in Liberia. Came back up to headquarters. Got again assigned to the task force as the deputy chief, code 143 then. Stayed there for a while. And then there was a situation in Buchanan where they had to change from the first officer to the last officer. There was a total overhaul. I think that was my first time going to a county. The county commander and all the elements in the county had to be over for some administrative reason. I moved away in Buchanan. That's somewhere in September of 2006. I stayed up in Buchanan for about 2.5 years. Got wedded in Buchanan and all of that. And then after a while, I again had the opportunity to go back to Banga to complete what I started, because my first time I was there, and I was in Bangla first between 2001 and 2003, and the war pulled all of us out of there. So, but then I enrolled at the Cotton University. I entered the police force as a Mayor High School graduate. Okay. But then at Bangla doing my first assignment, I managed to enroll at Cotton, but then could not continue because of the war. So when I left Buchanan and got reassigned to Bangla, I thought that was a perfect opportunity. And I went back, got readmitted, and we stayed there, graduated from Cotton, magna cum laude, and then I got transferred back to Monrovia. After my graduation, I think there was a time where I got transferred to Monrovia, then in the capacity as the Chief of Police for Muscle County, which is widely known as the Chief of Patrol. So I think as Chief of Patrol, I served for a little while in that position, and later on I got transferred from there again to the Public Safety Division. The Public Safety is that division that is responsible for oversight for the traffic.
Let me just hold you there. I want you, because you started off with your education,
right?
So I want you to give us your level of education, because sometimes people believe that people come to the police because like outside security has failed them, and they come to hustle. So I want you to tell our viewers, our audience, your own level of education.
Okay, so as soon as I got transferred from Bangla to Monrovia, that was somewhere in 2011. I sat the entrance for the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law, and then I enrolled there and stayed in and graduated also from the Louis Arthur Grant School of Law as an attorney at law. Sat the bar exams, passed with very good grades, and stayed up. Or after graduation, you become an attorney at law, and you have to practice for about 5 years. So I sat and practiced for 5 years, and later on, I got admitted to the Supreme Court bar as a counselor at law. So educational-wise, I got the bachelor degree in public administration and economics manner, and then I got an LLB in law, and then I'm a counselor at law, and I'm right now in the graduate school trying to obtain a master's again in public administration.
Now that you are the Deputy Inspector General of Police, and that is a very big strategic position within the Liberian National Police, how did you get here? I want you to drill us from the patrol level to where you are today. What are some of the key positions you occupy within the LNP before getting to where you are?
So that's why I try to outline. I mean, I know I've been very detailed, but then so I would say I've served 3 or 4 of Liberia's most prominent counties, with due respect to all the other counties. I know county is a county, other than I've got the same status. But I served Maryland, I served Nimba,
County Commander,
as County Commander. I served Bonn twice, and I served Bassa. And when I came back to town, I served the Chief of Patrol. That's the police chief of Masorado County. I later got appointed at the Public Safety Division. Public Safety is that division that is responsible for traffic. So I supervised the traffic section. Thereafter, I got transferred to a little bit of CID, that was major crimes. I went up at major crimes as the head of major crime. It's called the Financial Crime Investigation Division now. And then thereafter, I got appointed as the Commissioner of Police for Operations. That's the immediate deputy to this office for which I sit right now. And then after the coming of this new government, I got nominated by the President of the Republic of Liberia as the Deputy Inspector General of Police for Operations, a position I hold up to present.
You claim the ladder, the law enforcement ladder, with reference to the Liberian National Police gradually. How do you see law enforcement in Liberia, especially Liberia being a post-conflict country?
So from my experience as a grassroots law enforcement person, starting up from the basement, you know what the basement is. That's as a patrolman. I didn't come in the middle of here, and coupled with the number of international trainings I've had, that include the Scotland Yard in the UK, Bramshill, Cote d'Ivoire, and other places. I've come to the realization that law enforcement is one of the most challenging professions in the world, and ours is even more demanding, in that in most places in the world, people, have got two things they look up for, and one of them is what their responsibilities are as citizens and residents of a country to their country, and then the second thing is what their rights are that should be respected. Unfortunately, in my country, to a larger extent, most people here only look at it from a right perspective. Everybody here is concerned about what their rights are. Everybody else knows their right in this country. One of the things that's lacking is people do not know their responsibilities. And that is a serious challenge, because to deliver the required service, adequate security service, is more of a collaboration. Members of the public have to see themselves as a part of what you do. We're just a small segment of society that thought to take the uniform, wear the uniforms, and provide security for the country. Otherwise, every other person in every state, owe it to their country to provide whatever cooperation they can give to law enforcement. That is something that I observe that that is lacking within our environment. But with time, I'm sure it's going to bubble up. I'm sure we're going to get there one day. And there was a series of challenges in my law enforcement career. If we sat here between now and tomorrow, I know we might not be able to give up. But primarily, I think the members of the community need to see us as members of the community, because remember, we come from these communities to wear these fancy uniforms and sit in these offices. When we retire, we go right back to these communities. Our wives go to the market, our children go to the schools with everybody else. So, people need to start to see us that beyond these badges that we wear, we have a heart. And that heart, is just a profession that we chose to make sure that we stay on the front line for the rest of members of the community. I think that cooperation with members of the community is a key challenge in what we do, but with time, I'm very hopeful that we're going to get there. And then most police forces around the world send, and I hate to say this, but I have to, it's the benefits that come with this kind of service. Salaries are meager. Being a basic policeman, from my experience, some people stay up in here as patrolmen. Sometimes they manage to reach the rank of a sergeant. Some people don't make it to the top like we've done. And if you compare what they make on a monthly basis with what their daily expenditures are, considering they have to pay fees for their kids, they have to put a roof over their heads and all of that, it's almost impossible to save anything. And then when they retire, you see that people retire from here with nothing. There are no benefits. Most times, from my experience here for the number of years I've been here, most of the guys who serve for 25, 30 years retire with psychosocial issues around here. Some of them end up being beggars. Some of them end up, West Case picking papers up in the street. I saw guys who came from Asia, and some of the top-notch guys that sat in this building. And their earnings were so sad. So I've repeatedly had a conversation with my Inspector General of Police on how is it that we can prevail on national government to start to look in that direction. When people serve, after the years of service, the years of sacrifice, the years of putting their life in the life of their families on the front line, at least they can retire honorably and live a dignified life. Those are some of the primary challenges we got. But like I say, time heals a lot. They say teach in time saves 9. So I'm very sure that in the not too distant future, we will start to provide basic services for our people. It's good that the United Nations missions has opened. At least some of our guys are opportune to go up in these missions, and there are benefits that come with it. When you come back, if you do well with the small resources you get there, your life can never be the same. So yeah, that's why when I got the opportunity to talk to young officers, I share my experience with them. I let them do that. I didn't have the opportunity to be mentored like you all have been mentored today. We came in, we were young, we got moved by the youthfulness, we were, very assertive, and we did all, in most times, with our guidance. But here you are today, we're lucky today, the police force have got all the people on the top, that's from the director of police to all his principal deputies are more than 20 years in service. Even the youngest one is more than 20 years in service. So, and we all grew up through the ranks and files. So we empathize with the situation. We're here, we understand exactly what they go through, because I rode the pickup back from here to Cape Hammers more than 2 times So nobody's going to tell me how it feels like riding the pickup back from the Cape Town. I live in this police barrack and fed on the boogie in the basement. The boogie, if you care to know, is that daily food, that the ration that they cook down in the basement. Even on days off, on some day off, I had to come up to the basement because you could hardly afford to even have it in your place. So with those experiences, especially with us sitting at the top, I'm sure we will do all we can to improve the livelihood of police officers. It's deplorable, and a lot need to be done to get us to the standards that require of any decent person.
Our last census put us at 5 million. Since that time, the population continued to swell. There are new crimes involving by the day. You are the Deputy Inspector General responsible for operation running the streets. How is the crime statistics now?
Well, the stats, I tried to lay my hand on one of them this morning, but I'm not sure I got it right on my desk. The stats aren't really bad right now as far as violent crime is concerned. We've managed, when we took over, you were here, I mean, snatching of handbags, snatching of phones, robbery, and all of that were on the increase, especially so in the Ghana's area. I mean, motorbike theft was something that every other day you heard about. I'm not saying they're all over, no, that's not what I'm saying. I mean, I know they're still happening in some corners, but I mean, the wave at which it was happening has reduced considerably, and we must give that up to members of the public. They've been very cooperative, they've been letting us inform, and our problem is the ratio, as you quite honestly measure. You know, in 2016 or thereabout, during the army drawdown, there was a projection of about 8,000 police officers if Army had to leave Liberia to be able to effectively provide the services that is required of us. You know, there's an internationally accepted ratio. I think it should be 450 or 500 to a police officer to a single person, or person to police officer ratio. One police officer to 450 or 500 persons. On the contrary, here, I mean, there are some far to reach areas that you might put that population up to maybe 3,000, 3,500 persons to one. So Army left here 2016 with the projection of all having 8,000 officers. 2016 to today is almost 9 years, and our number, you are aware, we're still way under 6,000 officers. So I mean, it's quite impossible for us to be able to even meet midway with what the internationally accepted ratio is. But the wisdom of the Inspector General of Police is that we will start to do some recruitment probably in the first quarter of this year, and we're hopeful that every year we'll roll our classes to see how we can get to that. But again, it's good to have the numbers, but you're also concerned about the well-being of the ones you got. I got a joke I always say when we're in these senior management meetings that, I mean, you got 2 kids, and you can't be praying for your wife to have to bowl you triplets or twins, because you got 2 that you cannot adequately take care of. If you got triplets, how are you going to manage with them? So yes, it's important for us to get the numbers. It's important for us to make sure that we meet this internationally accepted ratio midway. But what is most important is the well-being of the ones we got right now. How can we make sure that their salaries can commensurate with the daily living of any human being? And then how can we make sure that they provide basic social services? With the exception of the single police barrier we got in Johnson Road here, you know it. I mean, officers have to live in far to reach places. Somebody is living way up in Carwell, somebody is living up way in Johnsonville, and he has to commute to town every day. He doesn't even have the means to do it. So there's just too many things we're looking at, but we are grateful that we got a police chief who himself has gone through it. He started up from the bottom, like I said initially, and so he understands the plight. And I mean, he's been pushing, and we're very hopeful that in the not too distant future we will have it at a level that will be appreciated. I know we can't get what we want, but to some level, at least we have to be at a certain place.
On your watch as Deputy Inspector General of Police, a decision was taken, and some members of the public described it as being popular, and some say it was unpopular, and that is the motorbike restriction. And what is the feedback have you been getting as Chief of, as Deputy Inspector General of Operation? What are the citizens seeing since the restriction came about?
So that was one of the toughest decisions we made was when we sold these offices. Initially, you know, motorcycle is the fastest mode of transportation everywhere. So people use it widely to commute from one point to another. And they have got this easy maneuvering capability that you can just beat through the traffic. But then with all of those good things come with the other side to it that had to do with the number of accidents we have on our road, the number of snatching of handbags we have, the commuting of criminals from one location to another. So when we sat and reviewed it, Sam, it might interest you to know that as soon as I got nominated, even before I got confirmed, I had more than 10 different meetings, separate meetings with members of the motorcycle industry, people from that sector, because I've dealt with the situation before. Remember, I used to be the chief of public safety. I used to be the commissioner of operations. But then when Director Krumah was here, that was the first time we ever initiated the enforcement of a no-go zone. And I saw how we handled it. I mean, I know it was chaotic. Later on, we succeeded. But the friction, the disconnect between members of the public and the police was just too wide. So when I got the opportunity to sit in this office, I was like, how can I do it differently? How can I do it with less tension? And then the only way that I thought I could do it was to get the stakeholders involved. And the key stakeholders in that sector are the motorcyclists themselves. So I managed to work with all the unions that we sat. We had a couple of meetings. We all, I mean, drew our guidelines. To a larger extent, some of those guidelines worked, some of them did not. And the straw that broke the camel's back was, I know one time we came with these rules that before you ride a motorcycle, you must have a wear-fitted shoes, you must have helmets, you must only carry a single passenger. And then later on, that's too started to break down. And then there was this incident at the Crown Hill, if you remember that. I think a truck was trying to climb the hill and it failed. And then while reversing, it ran into a motorcyclist at the foot of the River Tucker Bridge. And then he passed. And whilst we were concentrating on how we could get the truck up and deal with the driver, a band of motorcyclists took to the street in the numbers, in the hundreds. You remember that very well. Somewhere, I think it was somewhere in February of 2025. And they took up to the street, ran behind police officers in some instances, wounded some police officers, and caused some serious damages to our infrastructure. I mean, the booth there at the Boulevard Junction was broken down and all of that. So at that point in time, I decisively, even with our consultation with the Inspector General, I mean, I'm honest about that, I took the decision, called all my deputies, and immediately told them, you know what, this restriction zone must commence immediately. And when it got to the attention of the Inspector General of Police, he sanctioned it, he approved it. And at the beginning, the feelings were very, very high because people thought that we're taking away from them what they got used to, you know. Change is the only constant variable. I mean, everything else changed except change itself. So for people to adapt, it became a challenge for them. But then, as we speak right now, if you went to the hospital, the last time I had an opportunity to have a meeting in this room with members from the JFK leadership, and they said to us, you know, the stats that are available to us as, I mean, proof that the number of accidents, especially involving two-wheelers, have reduced considerably. Even the crime rate, from our statistics, the crime rate has dropped this money. And on the overall, it's good so far. And
so the feedback is positive.
The feedback is very positive. The only challenge we're still having is members of the community still, I mean, some of them still try to take advantage of the situation. And let me use this opportunity to advise members of the community to stay away from these motorcycles, especially in these zones that are restricted. I mean, Sam, there are a lot of places you can go. For example, when you're in the Cinco Bell from 1st Street to 24th Street, you can even cross, go towards the beach. I see them a lot of time. I will stop my car, allow you cross from the beach on the other side. I'm only asking for the boulevard, Asuma Strip, and the road from Freeport to town and Central Monrovia. The feedback has been good, except that some people are still taking advantage of it. And whilst the police will be trying to get those people, I mean, to get the motorcyclists, some people get injured, some people will regret, and we don't want to see people getting hurt. So we are glad that the results are very positive, and the team members of the public have started to realize that these measures were put in place for the good of all of us. My kids use motorcycles to go to school. My wife, I can use motorcycles to go to the market too. So the safety of one Liberian is the safety of all Liberians. So we're very much concerned about that.
Now, and finally, do you have any message for diaspora Liberians? Sometimes they are concerned about their security whenever they return.
We're doing all we can. I mean, citizens who reside here, foreigners who reside within our borders, our brothers and sisters on the outside of Liberia who are waiting to come back. There's a saying that no matter how long the bird stays in the air, he has to come down to drink water. A lot of people go out there in the search for greener pasture. But at the end of the day, when they're pushing retirement, you want to have a home, you want to build a farm, you want to come back and settle down. And I know security has been one of their serious concerns, and that is why we're here. It is our job to make sure that Liberia is safe and it remains safe. We'll do all in our reach. I mean, while we're setting these offices, to make sure that Liberia gets better as far as security is concerned. This is something we're now ready to back up from. Same as a matter of fact, I mean, you're a witness. I pick up every last call that comes to my phone, because the first thing that comes to mind is that, I mean, somebody might be in distress and they will be needing help. So members of the Liberian community residing out of Liberia, please come back home if you wish to. I mean, do your investments here. The only reason we're here is to make sure that you're safe, your investments are safe, and Liberia is safe for all of us, both, I mean, including people who are just residing within our borders, as long as you reside here legally.
community policing, road safety, and how citizens can help. Tune in, ask questions, be a part of the conversation that builds a safer Liberia. Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Police Dialogue, join the Liberian National Police and community leaders for weekly conversation on safety, rights, and road safety. Tune in on the official LNP Facebook page, Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Have you ever wondered how the Liberian National Police keep our community safe? Want to know your rights and the role you play? Introducing Police Dialogue, an interactive public service podcast. Each week, senior officers, law enforcement experts, the community leaders discuss crime prevention, community policing, road safety, and how citizens can help. Tune in, ask questions, be a part of the conversation that builds a safer Liberia. Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Police Dialogue, join the Liberian National Police and community leaders for weekly conversation on safety, rights, and road safety. Tune in on the official LNP Facebook page, Police Dialogue, working together for peace, protection, and progress. Have you ever wondered